Women over 60. The real reason you keep losing muscle has nothing to do with genetics. It has nothing to do with your age. And it has absolutely nothing to do with how hard you've tried. It's what you do or don't do in the very first hour after you open your eyes each morning. And once you know what it is, you can change it starting tomorrow. Before I share all 10 habits, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. I release practical senior health tips every week on Senior Recharge, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. My name is Bob Miller. I'm 68 years old, and at 62, my doctor told me straight to my face that if I didn't change something, I'd be looking at serious mobility issues within 5 years. My muscle mass was declining faster than it should. My balance was off. I was tired by noon every single day, and I thought that was just what getting older felt like. It isn't. What followed was 6 years of research, conversations with specialists, and a whole lot of trial and error. And what I found completely changed my life. I got stronger. My balance came back. I started walking 2 miles a day again. My doctor at my next annual physical looked at my numbers and said, "Bob, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not selling anything. I'm just a regular guy from Ohio who found what works and wants to share it with you." And thousands of women over 60 across America are already using these exact morning habits to stay strong and out of the nursing home. Stick with me to the end and you'll have the complete roadmap too. The women who age the best, the ones still gardening at 82, still traveling at 87, still living independently at 91, they're not doing dramatically different things. They're doing small, consistent things every single morning, and those small things add up to something extraordinary over time. So let's get into it. The first habit is eating protein within 30 minutes of waking up. Here's something that floored me when I first learned it. Every night while you sleep, your body goes into a fasting state. And during that fast, if you don't refuel quickly in the morning, your body actually starts breaking down your own muscle tissue for energy. It's called catabolism, and for women over 60, it's one of the primary drivers of sarcopenia, which is the medical term for age-related muscle loss. Researchers at the University of Texas Medical Branch found that older adults who consumed at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at breakfast experienced significantly better muscle protein synthesis throughout the entire day. Dr. Gabrielle Norton, a geriatric nutrition specialist at the Cleveland Clinic, puts it plainly. The morning protein window is real. After 8 hours of fasting, your muscles are primed to absorb amino acids. Missing that window is like leaving free muscle-building fuel on the table every single day. Your action plan starting tomorrow is simple. Before your first cup of coffee, prepare a protein-rich breakfast. 2 eggs any style, a serving of Greek yogurt, a handful of nuts or seeds. Aim for at least 25 grams of protein. Set everything out tonight so there are no excuses in the morning. Your muscles have been waiting all night. Don't make them wait another hour. The second habit is doing 5 minutes of resistance movement before you sit down. Think about what happens in a typical morning. The alarm goes off. You shuffle to the bathroom, you pour your coffee, you sit down, and that's where you stay for the next hour. That morning sitting pattern is one of the most quietly damaging things you can do to your muscles. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that simple, resistance-based movement in the morning can increase muscle protein synthesis by more than 40% for the hours that follow. Dr. Sandra Whitfield, a professor of exercise science at Johns Hopkins, explains it clearly. Morning resistance movement is like flipping a metabolic switch. It signals the body to preserve and build muscle rather than break it down. 5 minutes is genuinely enough to trigger that signal. Tomorrow morning, before you sit down for breakfast, do this. 10 wall push-ups, 10 sit-to-stand movements from a sturdy chair, 10 slow calf raises holding the counter for balance. The whole thing takes about 4 minutes. Easy done consistently beats hard done occasionally every single time. The third habit is stepping outside for 10 minutes of morning sunlight. When morning sunlight hits your skin and enters your eyes, it triggers a cascade of hormonal and cellular events that are profoundly important for muscle health, bone density, and sleep quality. Most critically, for women over 60, morning sunlight is the body's primary trigger for vitamin D production. And vitamin D deficiency, which affects an estimated 42% of American adults, is directly linked to accelerated muscle loss, poor balance, and increased fracture risk. Dr. Michael Holick, one of the world's leading vitamin D researchers at Boston University School of Medicine, has stated that just 10 to 15 minutes of morning sun on exposed skin can meaningfully support vitamin D levels in older adults. After you wake up, step outside and let the sunlight touch your face and arms for 10 minutes. On cloudy days, go anyway. Outdoor light is still vastly more powerful than indoor lighting, even when overcast. If mobility is a challenge, sit near an open window. During long winters, talk to your doctor about a quality vitamin D3 supplement to bridge the gap. This habit costs you nothing and gives your bones, your muscles, and your mood something no supplement can fully replicate. Are you finding this helpful so far? If yes, do me a quick favor and hit the like button right now. It helps more women over 60 find this video and get this information when they need it most. The fourth habit is hydrating with electrolytes before your coffee. By the time you wake up in the morning, you are already mildly dehydrated. You just spent 7 or 8 hours breathing and running your metabolism without a single drop of fluid. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that even mild dehydration of just 1 to 2% of body weight can impair muscle strength, reduce coordination, and increase fatigue in older adults. And if your morning begins with coffee before water, which is a diuretic, you are deepening that dehydration right when your body needs hydration most. It's not just about water either. It's about electrolytes. Minerals like magnesium, potassium, and sodium are essential for muscle contraction. Without them, your muscles literally cannot fire efficiently. Dr. James Lauer, a sports medicine physician in Denver, says this plainly. Before your coffee, before your breakfast, drink 12 ounces of water with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. It takes 20 seconds, and it changes how your muscles perform all morning. Keep a glass and a small container of sea salt on your kitchen counter. The moment you wake up, drink 12 to 16 ounces of water with a small pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon. Then, have your coffee. Give your muscles the minerals they've been waiting for all night before you give them caffeine. The fifth habit is taking your omega-3s with breakfast. As we age, one of the primary enemies of our muscle tissue is chronic low-grade inflammation. Researchers call it inflammaging. It silently accelerates muscle breakdown, impairs recovery, and contributes to the stiffness and joint pain that so many women over 60 experience every single morning. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, found in fish oil and algae oil, are among the most well-studied anti-inflammatory compounds in nutritional science. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who supplemented with omega-3s for 6 months showed significant improvements in muscle protein synthesis and actually gained measurable lean muscle mass. Dr. Patricia Wolfe, a nutritional scientist at the University of Washington, explains it clearly. Omega-3s don't just reduce inflammation, they actually enhance the muscle's sensitivity to protein. That means the protein you eat at breakfast does more good when you have adequate omega-3 levels in your blood. With your protein breakfast tomorrow morning, take an omega-3 supplement containing at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA. If you prefer food sources, add ground flaxseed to your yogurt, a handful of walnuts, or plan for salmon or sardines several times this week. For women over 60 fighting sarcopenia, omega-3s every morning are as important as any other tool in your arsenal. Every week on Senior Recharge, I share practical, no-nonsense health tips, morning routines, nutrition guides, and movement strategies specifically for women and men over 60. All completely free. Subscribe so you never miss one. The sixth habit is spending 2 minutes managing your cortisol before the day starts. Most people have no idea that what happens in the first 10 minutes after waking, before you check your phone, before you turn on the news, directly determines your hormonal environment for the entire day. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, naturally spikes in the morning. In older adults under chronic stress, that spike can stay elevated for hours. And chronically high cortisol does something devastating to muscle. It actively breaks it down. A study from Stanford University's Center on Longevity found that older women who practiced even brief stress reduction techniques in the first 15 minutes of their morning had measurably lower cortisol levels throughout the day and significantly better performance on balance and strength tests. Dr. Eleanor Simmons, a geriatric psychologist at the Mayo Clinic, puts it plainly. Every morning you wake up rushed and anxious. You are bathing your muscles in a hormone designed to break them down. 2 minutes of intentional calm can meaningfully shift that entire hormonal environment. Set your phone face down. Before you look at any news or messages, sit quietly for 2 minutes and take 10 slow, controlled breaths. In for 4 counts, hold for 2, out for 6. Or write down 3 things you are grateful for. Your muscles need a calm, hormonal environment to rebuild. Give them those 2 minutes every single morning without compromise. Now stay right here, because habit number 7 is the one that genuinely surprised me the most when I researched this. It takes less than 60 seconds in the morning, and the science behind it is remarkable. The 7th habit is doing a 1-minute balance check and challenge. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among Americans over 65. More than 36 million falls occur among older adults in the United States each year, according to the CDC. And here is what most people don't know. Balance is a skill. Like all skills, if you don't practice it, you lose it. But if you do practice it, even briefly and consistently, you can genuinely improve it at any age. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that older adults who practiced daily balance, challenges for as little as 1 to 2 minutes per day, showed significant improvements in balance within 8 weeks. Dr. Thomas Brenda, a physical therapist and fall prevention specialist at the Cleveland Clinic, says it simply. 1 minute every morning is enough to maintain and even improve the neural pathways that keep you upright. Every morning after your electrolyte water, stand next to your kitchen counter. Lift 1 foot, just an inch or 2 off the floor, and hold for 30 seconds. Use the counter if you need to. Then switch feet. 1 minute total. When I started this 2 years ago, I could barely hold my balance for 5 seconds on my left side. Now, I hold it for 30 seconds with my eyes closed. You will get there too. The 8th habit is adding collagen to your morning routine. Muscle health is not just about muscle tissue. It's also profoundly about the connective tissue, the tendons, ligaments, and fascia that hold your muscles in place and allow them to function properly. As we age, collagen production declines sharply. Research from Penn State University's Department of Kinesiology found that older adults who supplemented with collagen peptides combined with gentle resistance, exercise showed significantly greater improvements in muscle strength compared to those who only did the exercise alone. Dr. Patricia Morrison, a rheumatologist in Chicago specializing in musculoskeletal aging, explains it this way. Think of collagen as the scaffolding inside your body. When that scaffolding weakens, everything built on it, your muscles, your joints, your bones, loses structural support. Daily collagen in older women is one of the most underutilized tools we have for maintaining functional strength. Either purchase a quality collagen peptide powder and stir 1 scoop into your morning water or coffee. Or make a simple batch of bone broth on the weekend using chicken carcasses or beef bones, store it in jars in the fridge, and warm up 1 cup each morning before breakfast. One simple addition, remarkable results within weeks. Next week, I'm going over the exact evening habits that work alongside this morning routine to double the results. Subscribe now so that video goes straight to your feed the moment it drops. The 9th habit is connecting with someone before 10 in the morning. This one might surprise you because it has nothing to do with exercise or nutrition. A multi-year study from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that older adults with strong social connections had significantly better physical functioning, lower inflammatory markers, and retained muscle strength longer than socially isolated peers. The biological mechanism involves oxytocin, the bonding hormone released during positive social interaction, which has direct anti-inflammatory effects on muscle tissue. Dr. Lisa Walters, a social gerontologist at the University of Michigan, states plainly, "Loneliness and isolation are not just emotional problems for older adults, they are physiological ones. Social connection reduces cortisol, boosts oxytocin, lowers inflammation, and supports the same hormonal environment that allows muscle tissue to heal and remain strong. Tomorrow morning, before 10 a.m., send a text, make a 2-minute phone call, or step outside and wave to a neighbor. The connection doesn't have to be deep or long, it just has to be real and consistent. Your muscles thrive in a body that feels cared for and connected. Don't underestimate this one. The 10th habit is setting one health intention out loud before you start your day. Every morning, before anything else, say one specific simple sentence out loud about what you will do for your health today. Not a resolution, not a vague wish, a specific intention. Something like, "Today I will drink my water before my coffee." Or, "Today I will do my 5 minutes of morning movement before I sit down." Research from Stanford's Behavioral Health Lab found that implementation intentions, which are specific plans tied to particular situations, dramatically increase the likelihood of health behavior follow-through in older adults. Dr. Daniel Whitmore, a behavioral health researcher in Austin, Texas, explains it clearly. The morning is when the brain is freshest and most receptive. A health intention set in the morning creates a neural pathway that the brain is actually primed to follow through on. It takes 30 seconds, and it genuinely works. Every morning while I sip my electrolyte water, I say one sentence out loud, just one. Saying it out loud feels a little silly at first, but my follow-through rate on those intentions is remarkably higher than when I just think about doing something. Try it tomorrow. You'll see what I mean. There you have it. 10 morning habits that women over 60 across America are using right now to fight muscle loss, stay strong on their feet, and keep living the independent lives they deserve. I want to be honest with you. I didn't adopt all 10 of these habits at once. I started with 2, morning protein and morning movement. I did those consistently for a month. Then I added the others slowly, 1 or 2 at a time, over about 6 months. And the cumulative effect is something I genuinely did not expect to feel at 68. I feel stronger now than I did at 58. My doctor confirms it, my blood work confirms it, and my ability to do the things I love, hiking with my grandkids, working in my garden, traveling with my wife, confirms it more than any lab result ever could. These habits are not dramatic, they won't make headlines, but they work consistently, quietly, powerfully, morning after morning. Your future self, the one who is still walking her dog at 85, still hosting Thanksgiving at 88, still living in her own home on her own terms at 91, is waiting for the decision you make tomorrow morning. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 morning habits are you already doing? And which one are you going to start tomorrow? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and I reply to as many as I can. If this video gave you even one habit worth trying, please hit like, subscribe, and share this with a woman in your life over 60 who needs to hear this. You might be giving her the most important health tip she receives all year. I'm Bob Miller. Take care of yourself. You are worth it, and I will see you in the next video.